Sorry? No, that's okay. It's very loud anyway. That's oh, yes, sir. Jai Radha Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Vijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Yashoda Nandana Raja Jana Randana Raja Jana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hara Gora Gora Hari Jaya Nityananda Ram Nityananda Ram Nityananda Ram Jaya Nityananda Ram Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada नित्य गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौरा हरि बोल ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकथा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम् 0629 Srimad Bhagavatam 39 39 correct Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Tam Brahma Nirvana Samadhimashitam Tam Brahma Nirvana Samadhimashitam तं ब्रह्म निर्वाण समाधिमाश्रितं व्युपाश्रितं गिरीशं योगकक्षाम् व्युपाश्रितं गिरीशं योगकक्षाम् सलोकपाला मुनयो मनूनाम् सलोकपाला मुनयो मनूनाम् आद्यं मनुं प्राञ्जलय प्रणेमु आद्यं मनुं प्राञ्जलयः प्रणेमु तं ब्रह्म निर्वाण समाधिमाश्रितं विपाश्रितं गिरिशं योगकक्षाम् सलोकपालामुनयो मनूना आद्यं मनुं प्राञ्जलयः प्रणेमु तं ब्रह्म निर्वाण समाधिमाश्रिता योपाश्रितं गिरिशं योगकक्षाम् सलोकपाला मुनयो मनूना आद्यं मनुं प्राञ्जलयः प्रणेमु तं ब्रह्म निर्वाण समाधिमाश्रितं योपाश्रितं गिरिशं योगकक्षाम् सलोकपाला मुनयो मनूना आद्यं मनुं प्राञ्जलयः प्रणेमु Word to word by His Divine Grace Srila His Divine Grace Abhay Charnarvind Bhaktan Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Tam him Lord Shiva Brahma Nirvana in Brahmananda Samadhim in trance Ashritam absorbed Vipashritam leaning on Girisham Lord Shiva Yoga Kaksham having his left knee firmly fixed with a knotted cloth Salokapala along with the demigods headed by Indra Munayaha the sages Manunam of all thinkers Adyam the chief Manu thinker Pranjalayaha with folded palms Pranemu offered respectful obeisances. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki. All the sages and demigods headed by Indra offered their respectful obeisances unto Lord Shiva with folded hands. Lord Shiva was dressed in saffron garments and absorbed in trance, thus appearing to be the foremost of all sages. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this verse, the word Brahmananda is significant. This Brahmananda or Brahma Nirvan is explained by Prahlad Maharaj. When one is completely absorbed in Adukshaja, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is beyond the sense perception of materialistic persons, one is situated in Brahmananda. One is situated in Brahmananda. It is impossible to conceive of the existence, name, form, quality, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he is transcendently situated beyond the conception of materialistic persons. Because materialists cannot imagine or conceive of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they may think that God is dead, but factually he is always existing in his Sachidananda Vigraha, his eternal form. Constant meditation concentrated on the form of the Lord is called samadhi, ecstasy or trance. Samadhi means particularly concentrated attention. So, one who has achieved the qualification of always meditating on the personality of Godhead is to be understood to be always in trance and enjoying Brahma Nirvana or Brahmananda. Lord Shiva exhibited those symptoms, and therefore it is stated that he was absorbed in Brahmananda. Another significant word is Yoga Kaksha. Yoga Kaksha is a sitting posture in which the left thigh is fixed tightly under one's tightly knotted saffron cloth garment. Also, the words Manunam Adyam are significant here because they mean a philosopher or one who is thoughtful and can think very nicely. Such a man is called Manu. Lord Shiva is described in this verse as the chief of all thinkers. Lord Shiva, of course, does not engage in useless mental speculation. Lord Shiva, of course, does not engage in useless mental speculation. But as stated in the previous verse, he is always thoughtful regarding how to deliver the demons from their fallen condition of life. It is said that during the advent of Lord Chaitanya, Sadashiva appeared as Advaita Prabhu, and Advaita Prabhu's chief concern was to elevate the fallen conditioned souls to the platform of devotional service to Lord Krishna. Since people were engaged in useless occupations which would continue their material existence, Lord Shiva, in the form of Lord Advaita, appealed the Supreme Lord to appear as Lord Chaitanya to deliver these illusion souls. Actually, Lord Chaitanya appeared on the request of Lord Advaita. Similarly, Lord Shiva has a sampradaya, the Rudra sampradaya. He is always thinking about the deliverance of the fallen souls as exhibited by Lord Advaita Prabhu. Again, Om Jnana Timiram Dasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So I have no qualification at all to speak on the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is actually a subject matter of liberated persons, persons who are beyond this material world. So I beg the blessings of everyone. Hare Krishna. So here Lord Shiva is glorified as the foremost of all thinkers. So very important, very important in the purport Prabhupada says, Lord Shiva does not engage in mental speculation. As most people in his age do, Lord Shiva does not engage in mental speculation. So Tasmat Pramanam Shastrante Karya Akarya Vivastitaha. So one has to know Shastra in a very concrete way. That's the first thing in spiritual life. One should not have a vague understanding. Prabhupada says, Dharmam to Sakshat Bhagavad Pranitam. This is what I heard when I first came to this movement. Dharma means Dharmam to Sakshat Bhagavad Pranitam. Dharma is not this Dharma or that Dharma. I'm not, even Varnashram Dharma is not ultimate Dharma. Varnashram Dharma is a foundation. Is just a material situation. Varnashrama, unless it is engaged in the service of the Lord, it is only material. So real Dharma, real Bhagavad Dharma is actually defined only by the Supreme Lord. Surrender to the Supreme Lord is the real Dharma. So Here, Lord Shiva is experiencing Brahmananda, Samadhi. So, Samadhi is the ultimate goal of spiritual life. Everything, purpose of everything is to attain Samadhi. So, So there are many key points in this purport. The first key point in this purport is that when one is completely absorbed in Adhokshaja, completely absorbed in Krishna. So this first word absorption is extremely important. So absorption means to be in the present. That's the first principle. So many times in Krishna consciousness, even speaking about myself, we may be in the past or in the future. But real bhakti means to be in the present. And how to be in the present? To be enthusiastic, to be active in the present. That is the mode of goodness. Speaking for myself. So we have to situate ourselves in the mode of goodness, which means all the lamps, all the gates of the body are illuminated with knowledge. So we need to know that this body is made of ignorance. What we're dealing with is made of ignorance. Therefore, we have to accept knowledge forcefully, initially at least, because we don't know what is good for us. Even sometimes we may think something is good, but actually that is ignorance. Like just like for example, Rahugan, Maharaj Rahugan in Bhagavatam, when he was uh, being carried by Jag Bharat, he thought Jag Bharat is a fool. He thought that he's an ignorant person and he became very angry at him for not carrying the palanquin properly. But later he realized that he's a great soul. So, in the same way, that many times we mistake water for land and land for water. And we've been living that mistake for so many lifetimes. So, therefore, when we come to bhakti, we should uh, we should voluntarily agree to be corrected. Unless we have this mood that I want to be corrected, not just just for the sake of doing things correctly externally, but even the mood. Because in this world, speaking about myself, Prabhupada says sense enjoyment is the cause of this body. Why we have this body? Why I have this body? Because I wanted to enjoy. So, but that's not the way we can exist. The way we can exist is by identifying with Krishna's enjoyment. When we identify with Krishna's enjoyment, Radharani's enjoyment, then we actually become happy. So we cannot be happy by identifying with our own enjoyment. So our basic concept is wrong. So therefore we have to be agree to be corrected. So the more, because we have to agree, this is very important. Unless we want to be corrected, we will not be corrected. And even if we are corrected, we will not take that correction happily. We'll take it like, oh, why is that person saying? So the thing is that this is a very important principle. As we progress in Krishna consciousness, we should correct ourselves. We should not wait for someone else to correct us. How? By observation, by learning, by understanding the mind of great souls. This is very important. Sanatan Goswami, as soon as Mahaprabhu looked at Sanatan Goswami understood that Mahaprabhu was not pleased with him wearing that expensive chadar. Mahaprabhu didn't have to tell him. So we have to aspire to come to this platform that before mistake happens, we should correct ourselves. So that's what great souls, they don't say much. They just give a glance. With that, you should understand. So this is only speaking for myself because I'm always in the mode of ignorance. So that's the first point. So mental speculation is our tendency. And what do we speculate on? We speculate on sense enjoyment. I speculate today, my mind will say, wow, I really would like to eat some dal. Tomorrow I say, oh, some pizza is good, some lasagna is good. So in this way, because all the options are there in the mind, so the mind keeps speculating based on that only. Oh, this may be good. Let's go to India, let's go to New York, let's go here, let's go there, let's go for this party. So this is not good. So our nature is to speculate on sense enjoyment. Different types of sense enjoyment. That is my nature. So Prabhupada is, first of all, Prabhupada is condemning that stop the speculation, but just accept what Krishna says. Don't speculate. The next point in this purport, very important, is that one has to take shelter of a great soul. This is extremely important. Without being engaged in the service and being under the shelter of a great soul, one cannot progress in Krishna consciousness. How can we understand that from this purport? Prabhupada is quoting authority. Prabhupada is quoting Lord Shiva. So we have to follow in the footsteps of great souls. That's very important. Why do great souls appear in our life, or why have they come in this world? To set an example. So all great souls, what is their chief characteristic? They're always absorbed in thought of the Lord. Beginning with our Srila Prabhupada. It's very wonderful to see when Prabhupada himself has written this purport. Prabhupada is living this purport. So how is Prabhupada living this purport? When we understand how Prabhupada is living this purport, then we can follow the instructions. So Prabhupada, we all know Prabhupada, if you see any of Prabhupada's videos, Prabhupada always has tears in his eyes, always thinking of Krishna. And Prabhupada is not only just thinking, but always absorbed in samadhi. Always in samadhi. As Prabhupada said, there's never a time that I never forgot Krishna. This one line is the best glorification of Srila Prabhupada. That there was never a time that I forgot the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. And then, very important, here Prabhupada is speaking about thoughtfulness. So Prabhupada says, devotee means one who is independently thoughtful. So, of course, that does not mean that, if a lighter is not working, just throw it. If a lighter is not working, just throw that lighter, that one. Whichever is not working, throw it. Yeah. So, Prabhupada, if you see any of Prabhupada's lectures, how many verses Prabhupada quotes? Like so many verses. So like 15, 20, 30. If you read the transcript, we will see. Sometimes when we hear, we don't realize. So why? Because Prabhupada says, you must quote authority. Otherwise, the tendency will be to speculate. Like many times we see, like, we may go to an example, then example will become Shastra. And we'll start philosophizing and theorizing from that example. That's what the Mayavadis do, right? What do the Mayavadis do? They say like, that just as air in the pot merges with air in the sky, you as a soul will merge with the Supreme Lord. See, this is mental speculation. So Prabhupada does not like this. Prabhupada wants us to follow Shastra as it is, without changing anything. That's why those people who have read Prabhupada books, who are reading Prabhupada books, they can clearly understand not only what is the Shastra and how to follow the Shastra. That's very important. So we should never downplay the Shastra. We should never bring the Shastra to our level. Just because it's difficult for us to accept, we should not say Shastra is wrong. And at the same time, we need to understand how Shastra how Shastra can be applied in our daily life. So both these things we have to understand. So yeah, absorption. Absorption is the most important thing in bhakti. We all want to be absorbed. In this month of Kartik, we all want to be absorbed. That's the most important principle. So that's the most important principle. How can one be absorbed? What is the first obstacle to absorption? The first obstacle is distraction. And who distracts us? Me, ourselves. We're used to distraction. We trained ourselves in distraction. Like for example, I myself, when I'm speaking, I'm observing so many things. So I've been training myself since my birth to be distracted. I'm training myself since my birth to be a failure. So the first thing in absorption is try to do one thing at a time. And whenever you do anything in Krishna consciousness, just convince yourself that this is the perfection. According to how I behave in this situation, how I take shelter of Krishna in this situation, I will get future opportunity to take shelter of Krishna. So that's very important. According to how I perform my bhakti right now, in the future, I will also get opportunity to perform bhakti. This is a very subtle principle. Bhakti is not obtained, it is awarded. Who arranges bhakti? Who is bhakti? Bhakti Devi is actually Radharani's potency. And Bhakti Devi is for this Sachindan Maharaj, I was hearing, he said that it only when the devotee is very humble on that humility, on the base of that humility, bhakti actually descends into the heart. So Krishna's pure devotee, they have to make the arrangement for bhakti to appear. We cannot force bhakti. We cannot force feeling. So first thing is to do one thing at a time, to be absorbed, not to be running here and there. And that's very important. Parasparanukathanam. Like when we get together to glorify the Lord, we should all be absorbed. Like in a kirtan, I see that in a kirtan, if there are 10 people, all 10 people are completely absorbed in the kirtan. You see the energy of the kirtan. As opposed to that, you see one person is absorbed, the other person is paying attention to this, paying attention to that, distracted. Like I myself do this sometimes, but prefer not to. Like for example, in the kirtan, you're playing kartal or you're dancing, you suddenly go somewhere. Some arti is going, you go somewhere. So what you're doing is you're disrupting your absorption, you're disrupting the whole kirtan's absorption also. So that's why we should first of all train ourselves to do one thing at a time and do one thing properly without stopping, without breaking. That's very, very good actually, very extremely helpful in Krishna consciousness. The next thing for absorption, which is very important, is of course um, wonderful association of devotees. Association of devotees who are focused in their Krishna consciousness. We need to take association of such people. And such people who have no desire or who do not engage in any kind of sense gratification in this world. We should associate with such people. That's very important. Basically, apart from their duty, Maya is very powerful. Many times we think things are our duty. Oh, I should do this, I should. No. What is our duty which we need to maintain this body by which? Like you're going to work, that is your only duty. Other things are not your duty. Anything else is Maya. It's a waste of time. It's not pleasing to Krishna. It's a disruption in your Krishna consciousness. Except for what is strictly needed to maintain your body, it's all Maya. So, okay, you go to work, you give whatever you can, to Krishna, uh, and you use whatever else to maintain Krishna's devotees, that's all right. Rest of the time, whole time in Krishna consciousness, nothing else, no other distraction. We should associate with such kind of people. Prabhupada makes a very heavy comment. Prabhupada says, Abhichet apichet suduracharo. We all know that verse. Apichet suduracharo. Even the most person who has performed um, the most abominable action, even he, if he engages continuously, if you read that, Prabhupada says continuously. So even there, Prabhupada is very strict, continuously. And continuously does not mean that you have to fast, doesn't mean that you shouldn't eat, you shouldn't sleep. No, continuously means something or the other in Krishna consciousness. Even eating prasadam is also Krishna conscious. Even kirtan is also Krishna conscious. Whatever, discussing about Krishna is Krishna conscious. Sweeping the floor is Krishna conscious. Doing kirtan is Krishna conscious, but Krishna conscious. So we should associate with such people who are continuously engaged in service of the Lord, so that we can get this absorption. Absorption, from my experience, is just like um, a smell. So if you are in a place that smells really good, like for example, you go in a rose garden, you're in a rose garden for maybe 5, 6 hours. Definitely, when you come out of that rose garden, you will smell good. So it does not mean that your body is a rose. No, you have been in rose garden. So in the same way, Prabhupada says that iron in the fire, by association, eventually it will acquire the qualities of fire. So in the same way, by our absorption today is determined by how much we engage in Krishna consciousness for the last 1 week. I'm just giving an example. So these are some very important points, because our goal is absorption. How much ever we will be successful outside or whatever, ultimately our situation is, our mental situation is how much we're absorbed in Krishna. And that's all matters. Everything else, we cannot actually relish that thing. As I realized that, you know, I was just thinking, that before or even now, like sometimes, we may think that, oh, before before when I was a student, I used to think like this, that when the last day of the examination would be over, I would be thinking that, oh, how nice it would be to go to India. And I would think about, wow, the experience in the flight and all these things. Now, when I think about it, I think it's all the enjoyment is in the mind only. There is no real enjoyment. It's just in the mind. It just looks like Prabhupada says, horse eggs. Horse eggs don't exist. Prabhupada says horse eggs. you know, or like, what is that? Apples in the sky. It's like these kind of things. So anyway, or yeah, flowers in the sky, exactly. Flowers in the sky. So, this is about this purport. It's very, very important actually that we need to invest on our absorption. In this month of Kartik, we need to work on what we do, how we do, with more what more we do. We need to really think about these things. Kartik is not a month just to do a bunch of things and then forget about it later. No, the goal of Kartik should be, I want to change myself. I want to sincerely change myself. I want to change my schedule. I want to change the way I think. I want to change the way I behave with devotees. All these things. So this is very important, extremely. And so now what I will do is, today is the Radha Kund, the day that Radha Kund appeared. Of course, according to Shastra, His Grace Madhananda Prabhu was mentioning that actually the appearance of Radha Kund is in Chaitra Purnima, is like in March, according to our Goswamis. But today also is, we can celebrate as the appearance of Radha Kund. Why? Because the day when all the great devotees, pure devotees, when they think about the pastimes of the Lord, whether the Lord performed those pastimes actually or not, of course, Lord's pastimes are eternal, But on this earth planet, regardless of whether the Lord performed his pastimes or not, Lord's pastime actually happened. So just like, for example, if you are thinking of Krishna going to the pastures, the forest pastures, and grazing with the cows, then you are in that pastime, or you are associating with that pastime right now. It's not something which happened 5,000 years ago. You're associating right now. So pure devotees, they are so powerful that just by their thought, they can manifest, they can create the pastime. Like we have experienced the power of pure devotees. So because of that, today is a very, very auspicious day, the most auspicious day. Actually, of all the holy places, Vrindavan is glorified as the topmost place because Krishna performed his rasa dance, and then above that is actually Govardhan Hill because of more intimate pastimes that Krishna performed, and how Girendra Paharidasa Shrenivareti Nama Mritamidam Shri Radhika Vaktra Chandrat Vrajanavatilakatve Klipta Vede Sputam Me Nija Nikata Nivasam Dehi Govardhanatvam. Raghunath Das Goswami is praying that this Haridasa Varya, this Govardhan, Sri Radhika Vakta Chanda, from the moon-like mouth of Srimati Radharani, this Giri Govardhan is proclaimed as the greatest servant of Hari. So Govardhan is even higher, and then the topmost place is Radhakund. Because Lord Krishna performed his most intimate pastimes there. So, Srila Prabhupada was asked by one of his disciples, Mother Devi Shakti asked Srila Prabhupada, that Srila Prabhupada, we want to build a temple in Radhakund. Prabhupada said, yeah, what you will do there? Prabhupada said, Prabhupada, we will sell your books. Prabhupada said, no. Radhakund is not meant for selling books. Radhakund is meant for relishing. So it's very, very high platform. And actually, in order to live in Radhakund, one needs to completely, actually, according to great devotees, to live at Radhakund, one needs to have a spiritual body. Because that's the highest place. No other sampradaya is allowed. No other sampradaya has entrance. And only pure, perfected souls can live there because it is a place of Krishna and the gopis, but nothing else. Nobody else exists in that realm. It's a very, very high, most high. So I'm not qualified to speak. So I'll quickly summarize how Radhakund actually came about. So Radhakund, one day, the demon called Arishtasura, bull, demon in the shape of a bull, came to Rajbhumi sent by Kamsa to attack Krishna. Krishna killed that demon, and then he went to serve the gopis at Govardhan. And when he went to serve them, they said, Krishna, because you killed a cow, cow is our mother, so you're contaminated now. So Krishna said, no, it's not a cow, it's not a bull, it's a demon. He said, doesn't matter. So Krishna said, so what should I do? They said, you have to take bath in all the holy places, holy rivers in the universe. You have to go one by one by one. Krishna just used his foot and hit the ground, and then all the holy rivers there. And Krishna took bath. And after Krishna took bath, Krishna said, now I am fully purified. But because you sided with the demon, Therefore, you also have become contaminated. So Radharani and all her associates, they actually uh, using bangles, they actually dug a hole and they formed a huge line bringing water from Manasi Ganga. So in this way, they were engaged in very hard labor. And seeing this, Krishna's heart melted. That wow, they're working so hard. So all the holy rivers, they came to Srimati Radharani and said, please, it will be our greatest fortune to occupy your divine lake. So Radharani agreed, and then eventually Radha Kund was formed and Shyam Kund was formed, and there is actually a connection called Sangam between Radha Kund and Shyam Kund. And we should know for a fact that a lot of our acharyas reside there. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, Raghunath Das Goswami. Their samadhis are there. On the side of Shyama Kund, there is other Goswamis. So they're all siddhas, they're all eternally perfected souls. That is our sampradaya. The most exalted sampradaya. And at the center of Radha Kund is actually Janava Betak. So Janava Betak is a place where Mother Janava, who is the consort of Lord Nityananda, she used to take bath. It's a special place when you take bath. So that's why Nitai is so powerful. Because that's why Nitai can take you to Radha Kund. Because Nitai is in Radha Kund. So that's why Prabhupada says, Heno Nita Nini, Heno Nitai Vini Bhai, Radha Krishna Paite Bhai. Actually just, yeah, so anyhow, so Radha Kund is the topmost place, and Radha Kund is actually the liquid love of Srimati Radharani. So, anyways, so many amazing pastimes are there in Radha Kund of our Goswamis. But very important for us to understand is who is the, you can say, who is the commander-in-chief of Radha Kund, Raghunath Das Goswami. So we have to understand any holy place and its any deity by the Acharya of that. So Raghunath Das Goswami is the person who actually established Radha Kund in this world. Because Mahaprabhu took bath in 2 ponds and then named them Radha Kund and Shyam Kund. But Raghunath Das Goswami was the one who actually manifested Radha Kund and Shyam Kund in this world for us. He was the one who revealed. So his life is very, very important. So if we look at first Raghunath Das Goswami's life, when Raghunath Das Goswami first thing which happened, sorry, it will take little time today. If some of you have to leave, please do. Feel free. But yeah, I just wanted to glorify. So Raghunath Das Goswami, first of all, he got the mercy of Haridas Thakur. So, which means what? The first thing which is required in our life is holy name. Without holy name, there is no hope of anything. You cannot attain anything without holy name. In his Manashiksha also, Raghunath Das Goswami says, holy name is the most important thing. So, holy name is the most important. So, because of the mercy of Haridas Thakur, what happened? By associating Haridas Thakur and Advaita Acharya, Haridas Thakur and Advaita Acharya, what happened? He became completely disgusted with material life. So Raghunath Das Goswami initially, he was living with, no offense against anyone, or nothing against anyone, nothing for anyone. He was living with a very, very beautiful lady. And he was living in a situation that he didn't want to live. He was a businessman, he was doing all these things. So Mahaprabhu, initially when he went to Mahaprabhu gave him the instruction that just stay in your situation think of Krishna internally, and then Krishna will free you. So, what is the learning from this? The learning is in the beginning of our spiritual life, we have to take exclusive shelter of Nam, and this is how we should behave. We should be completely disgusted with material enjoyment. Prabhupada says that bhakti yoga means acquiring a distaste for this material world. The art of acquiring distaste for this material world, that is bhakti yoga. So we should be distasteful, we should cultivate, we should, in our heart, distaste for this material world should awaken, or material enjoyment. So not material world, material enjoyment should awaken. And we should perform our sadhana, uh, praying to Krishna, praying to especially Lord Nityananda to liberate us from this material world. So that's what he did for quite some time, Raghunath Das Goswami. And yeah, this is very important. Externally, he behaved like an ordinary person, but internally he cultivated his deep attachment to Krishna. So we have to practice this. Very important. Whatever vrats we may be doing, whatever we may be doing this Kartik month, or whatever we may do any time, we should never share it publicly. Because why? And then later, the you know, the prostitute of the desire for name and fame, Raghunath Goswami says, that will eat up our bhakti like a tiger. It will eat up our bhakti. So we should never share it. If our guru asks, Shiksha Guru asks, authority asks, we can share, but we should never unnecessarily brag about it. Because already the desire for name and fame, speaking for myself, is very much there, like a mountain. So if I advertise, it's just going to become more. So that's why we should keep it to ourselves. So Raghunath Goswami is internally thinking of Krishna, trying to serve, I'm always praying to Krishna to save him, to liberate him, and externally was behaving like an ordinary person. Externally behaving like an ordinary person is very good. Why? Because then people will not care about you. My Guru Maharaj makes an amazing statement. If you try to become big, the world will recognize you. But if you try to become small, Krishna will recognize you. So we have to try to become small internally. So Raghunath Das Goswami was like this for some time. And then what happened? Then Raghunath Das Goswami, eventually he met Lord Nityananda. And when he met Lord Nityananda, because of his strong sadhana, he got opportunity to serve Nityananda Prabhu and all the associates. And how he served? He served everyone, but finally, when he was giving some donations, giving some charity to the confidential associates, he said that please don't reveal my name. So doing service without desire for appreciation. This is very difficult, but this is very powerful. When you do service without desire for appreciation, like you pay obeisance to a devotee without the devotee seeing. Like you make sure the devotee doesn't see, but you pay obeisances. So that's a small example of doing service without desire for appreciation. So Raghunath Das Goswami did that kind of service, very humble, menial service. And as a result of it, he got very powerful blessings. So without Vaishnav Kripa, you cannot do anything in bhakti. He got Vaishnav Kripa, he got blessing from Nityananda Prabhu, and then he attained the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. So we cannot escape from our bodily necessities without Nityananda Prabhu's Kripa. We want to overcome our sleep, we want to overcome so many things. I cannot manage my time, my job, my this, my that. What is the only way to overcome those things? Is by Vaishnav Kripa. Without Vaishnav Kripa, you cannot overcome it. Impossible. How much ever you may chant, you may do your own sadhana, without getting mercy of devotees, you cannot overcome. This is actually, speaking about myself, the past karma is very strong. Like, if not for Kishore Prabhu helping me at certain important times in my spiritual life, Shiksha Guru helping me, great devotees helping me, I would not be here right now. Because what will happen in spiritual life is many times the time will come when, like, the situation will become very difficult. And if you don't take shelter of devotees, you cannot continue in this process. It's Maya is very, very powerful, extremely powerful. You know? So that's very important. So anyway, so he got the mercy. And then he went to Lord Chaitanya. And when he went to Lord Chaitanya, what kind of sadhana he did under Lord Chaitanya? For 24 years, this is very important. For 24 years, he was living with Lord Chaitanya. I mean, I can't remember the exact time, I'm sorry. But for how much ever time he was living with Lord Chaitanya, he was observing Lord Chaitanya, he was constantly absorbed in the service of Lord Chaitanya under the guidance of Sarup Damodar Goswami. And at this time, Mahaprabhu gave him the instruction, don't eat too nicely, don't eat very nicely, don't dress very nicely. And yes, always give respect to everyone, desire no respect for oneself. Um, and what is it? Yeah, try to always serve Radha and Krishna in your mind. And then eventually Mahaprabhu also gave him Govardhan Shila also, which is very high worship, spontaneous worship. So in this time, Raghunath Goswami, this is actually the precursor or before Raghunath Goswami went to Radhakund. Before Raghunath Goswami went to Radhakund, established Radhakund, this was Raghunath Goswami's life, which means that without sufficiently hearing and absorbing oneself and identifying with the moods of Lord Chaitanya, one cannot enter into Braj. If we are not attracted by Lord Chaitanya, by Mahaprabhu's activities, Chaitanya Bhagavat, for sure we will not be attracted to Lord Krishna and Vrindavan. Or our attraction may be okay, it may be there, but the deep attraction will not come. So he absorbed himself in the service of Lord Chaitanya Damodar Goswami for so many years. And then it is said, then he moved to Radhakund. Before even he went to Radhakund, Raghunath Goswami would sleep 2 hours. Raghunath Goswami would go to, would eat food even rejected by the cows. It is said for more than around 22 hours a day, Raghunath Goswami was chanting the holy name. Just 22 hours, just think about it. That is a kind of absorption. And then he went to Radhakund. And then he established Radhakund. And then he wrote so many prayers. Manashiksha, Vilap Kusumanjali, so many things. So, what we understand with Raghunath Goswami's life, we understand what are the qualities required actually to attain this state. Vaishnava Kripa is required. Following the moods of Lord Chaitanya is very much required. Take shelter of the holy name. So many things. I mean, I want to end soon, it's late. But Radhakund Bhahulashtami is not just a day that we just go, just appreciate and go. No, we want to follow the footsteps of Raghunath Goswami. We want to get lessons from his life and follow his footsteps. That is real celebration of Bahulashtami. And of course, we can read Manashiksha, very wonderful. But most important thing that we can learn from this Radhakund, appearance of Radhakund is actually the life of Raghunath Goswami. So when we study, when we imbibe the mood of Raghunath Goswami in our life, then we can have access. Because Radhakund is a place where no Purusha is allowed. No Purusha Bhav. If you have a desire to enjoy, speaking about myself, completely disqualified. Of course, we can still go, we can get purified, but if you really want to associate, then one must only be filled with seva. One's body, one's mind, one's soul must be only made of seva. Nothing else, nothing else, nothing else. So, in closing, I would just like to read this from Saraswati Thakur about what is required to attain Radha Kunvas. to be able to observe the lofty position of Srimati Radharani and her confidential associates is not within the realm of the common people, especially in only those who engage constantly in intimate, confidential, and eternal loving service to her understand this truth. Conversely, no one, for that matter, can fathom the mysteries and esoteric implications of such pastimes except her confidential associates. The day when our link with this material world is limited to the barest necessities, and furthermore, when our trivial opinions, concocted austerities, pious works, so-called knowledge and mystic power are considered worthless like the straw. This is very important. Our life should become very simple. No mental concoctions, no this devata, no all these things. And 10 people at the altar, no. Only Krishna. I mean, that's like must if you want to attain this. And no concocted austerities. No, I'm fasting on Thursday for this. No, all those attachments zero. And mystic power. We don't even appreciate mystic power. Oh, this person is a great yogi. Are considered worthless, completely useless. I don't care for it. Worthless like straw. When our worship of Narayan in his mood of majesty is not delusible in the least, which means that worship of Narayan does not mean that we don't follow rules and regulations. But what it means is we don't do official worship. Official worship means what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What is that? 4, 2, 3, 7. Jai, Jai Jagadisha Hare, Kartik Vrata Ki Jai. No. So that is called awe and reverence means, it's like, just like, for example, I just give an example, like say one day, let's say that, yeah, this is the best example actually. That, it's little foolish, but it makes complete sense actually. So one day, actually, a king was very hungry. So he told his servant that, bring me little food. I want to eat. I'm hungry. Right. So what the servant, he went to online. He searched what is meaning of little. How much is little? So little means one handful. So he brought one handful of whatever rice or fruit and gave to the king. I said, King said, use your common sense. I said, I'm hungry. I want little prasad, which means at least a plateful of prasad. Then after some time, after some days, the king said, I'm very hungry, very hungry. So how much prasad? Yeah, how much ever you can give, please give. So then the next time that servant, without using his intelligence, he again brought maybe little more. King said again, I said, I'm very hungry. How do you think this will fill me? So, anyways, the point is that our worship of the Lord should not be official. Official means just doing like a robot. We should not become a Hare Krishna robot. Right? So we should have feelings. We should have mood. Right? So, and the last, at that time when we are not at all inclined to be outspoken in the confidential topics of divine pastime like the rasa dance, only then will we be fit candidates to receive such confidential information. So when we don't brag about our realization, we don't brag about, oh, today I chanted the holy name, I was transported to Radha Kund. Today I was chanting holy name, I became so ecstatic. So when we remain very humble, we always think we're not qualified, and all these things. It's very wonderful. Saraswati Thakur's article, then only we will be qualified to receive mercy. So it's like when the day will be mine, that my heart will identify with the moods of Lord Chaitanya. When you identify the moods of Lord Chaitanya, then you identify with the moods of our Goswamis. Identify with the mood of Raghunath Goswami. Identify with the mood of Vishnu Thakur. And then by identifying with their mood, from their heart to our heart, that lobha, that greed will become transferred. that taste in bhakti will become transferred, that eagerness will become transferred, that at any cost I need to get this, I need this spontaneous devotion. So, yatha yatha gaura padara vinde vindeta bhaktim krita punya rasi. To attain Vraj, you need very special kind of qualification, krita punya rasi, that can only be obtained by Gauranga's mercy. And what is the nature of that mercy of Gauranga and Gauranga's dear devotees? Tatha tato asarpati hridaya kashmat. Suddenly, your heart will become attracted to what? Radha padam bhoja. Radha padam bhoja. The nectar emanating from the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Sudham Varashi. You will get taste for that. That is Vraj. That is Vraj. Vraj Bhakti. So, Unnatojjala Bhakti Shriyam. That's what Mahaprabhu came to give. That which was never given before. So, that's what I can speak today. So, my humble obeisance to all the devotees. Please forgive us for anything wrong and inappropriate. And Srila Prabhupada so perfectly gave us this Radha Kund, this highest thing in the form nectar of instruction. He gave us a perfect way to attain everything. So if we just remain very, very loyal to his lotus feet, try to spread the glory of Krishna. That's yesterday. I was one last point. Prabhupada said, if one becomes very enthusiastic to preach this Krishna conscious movement, then one immediately becomes extremely pleasing to Krishna. Immediately becomes extremely pleasing to Krishna. So, along with all our vows, whatever we will be doing, as much as possible, we can try to preach, we can try to spread. Like we are all not in Vrindavan right now. We are in Vrindavan, but we are not. But Prabhupada says that after having attained Vrindavan, we should only leave Vrindavan for the purpose of preaching the glories of Vrindavan. So our purpose in living in America is not to go to the malls, is not to go to different holy places like Niagara or Disney, but the purpose of living in America is to preach the glories of Vrindavan. That's it. We have nothing to do with this land for any other purpose. We are here to create Vrindavan. It's very high, not qualified, but that's what from. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Manchakalpurvishya Vasudevya Patana Pavlivashma Antakoti Vaishnavi. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Radharani ki jai, Radhakund ki jai, Kartik Mas ki jai. Anyone has any comment online or question? Yes, Grace.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, that point that you made, a devotee is one who is, I forgot the exact words, but a devotee is one who is thoughtful when he or she is alone. That was an thoughtful and thoughtful, I think thoughtful only, you said something on that lines only. That was such a nice point, Prabhuji, because everything else is external. What we are doing at alone when we are not in the eyes of anybody else. That was an amazing point, Prabhuji, something to meditate on for the rest of Kartik.
Yeah,
Thank you.
basically, speaking for myself, I'm very fallen. So the extent of our absorption, that is what we are actually, that's what we are, that's what we will be. And that's the only happiness we have. That's the only existence we have. So everything else will come and go. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Okay, anyone has a question or comment online? Okay, nobody has a question or comment here. Okay, Jai Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Radhakund ki jai. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpitavishya Kupasana Vyocha Padana Pavipya Vaishnava Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranams, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.